The National Prosecuting Authority, the importance of accountability, trust, and public interest. For the National Prosecuting Authority to be regarded as a legitimate institution, it needs to enjoy trust. To be trusted, it needs to act in the public interest in a transparent and accountable manner. Let's take a closer look at the concepts of accountability, public interest, and trust. The Constitution requires that the public administration, including the NPA, must be accountable for its decisions and actions. Prosecutors have a high degree of independence and power, but they also need to be accountable. The NPA's track record over the past 10 years reflects various challenges. This points to the tension between accountability and independence. It must also be noted that without transparency, there can be no accountability. To enjoy legitimacy, the NPA must be trusted to act in the public interest, that is, for the greater good of everyone involved. If the public does not trust the NPA to do this, the NPA will lose its legitimacy. Looking back over recent years, we must ask, was priority given to the prosecution of corrupt politicians and officials, negligent prosecutors, and law enforcement officials violating human rights? Generally, it is in the public's interest to prosecute criminal cases. Not making a decision regarding a prosecution is not in the public interest, and it is important to make that decision promptly. Criminal cases can also be handled through mediation and not prosecution. However, nearly a third of cases are handled this way at present with little to no record keeping. This raises serious concerns about how this serves public interest, especially if repeat offenders can avoid prosecution through mediation. While the NPA's conviction rate has been increasing, the actual number of prosecutions is dropping. This calls for a closer look at how the NPA defines public interest and what is prioritized for prosecution. Trust in an institution depends largely on its performance, the way in which it shows integrity, ability, and strength. Where there is trust, there is a feeling of security, and trust can be measured. Trust levels in the NPA, courts, and police do not look good. In one survey, 1 out of 3 respondents said they have no or very little trust in the NPA. The legitimacy of the NPA depends on its accountability, public interest, and trust. There can only be trust if the NPA acts in the best interest of the public and conducts itself in a transparent and accountable way. The Africa Criminal Justice Reform Fact Sheet titled NPA, Accountability, Trust and Public Interest describes this in detail.